Hey guys, so I wanted to hop on here real quick and talk about a technique that I use to make sure that I hit my macros every time I track. So there are some foods that you look at and they're linear. And what I mean by linear is that, rice is strictly a carb, right? Chicken is strictly a protein. Olive oil is strictly a fat, right? So we have some foods that we consume that fit in this nice little macro box, right? That one food is this macronutrient, okay? And again, macronutrients, when we're talking about macros, are carbs, proteins, and fats, okay? So there are some foods that are linear and they fit in these nice little macro boxes, right? But I think a lot of people run into trouble when they start tracking the more like multi-dimensional foods, right? So if you eat a burger, that burger has a bun, which is carbs. The patty is protein and fat. You've got some mayo on there, that's fat, right? You've got ketchup, that's some carbs. So everything is kind of compiled in this one meal that you eat. And I think a lot of people run into trouble when their entire diet is that multidimensional food, because then how do you fit that into the macros that you have planned for your day? So, that can be really complicated. And what I don't advise is to stop eating all that multidimensional food, right? I don't want you to stop enjoying those things and stop incorporating them into your diet because you don't know how to track them, right? That's not a good reason to omit something from your diet, okay? So what I recommend is that you start your day, whenever you're planning your day, which you definitely should start doing if you're not doing yet. That's the number one step to hitting your macros, right? Is planning your day. So before your feet hit the floor, once you've done your morning routine and you're ready to start planning your meals for the day, start by tracking the things that you're gonna eat that are multidimensional, okay? So say we're not going to let's not pick on burgers, let's pick on something like hummus, right? Something that's a little healthier, that is, even though it's healthy, right? It's still a healthy food. Not that I like, again, putting things in boxes of healthy versus unhealthy, but multi-dimensional foods, just because a food has more than a carb, a protein, and a fat in one meal, doesn't mean it's a bad food. Right? That's just, some foods are just made that way, right? A yogurt, if you're eating a flavored yogurt, that's going to have carbs, proteins, and fats in it, right? That's just some of our foods, whether they're, kind of more, say cheap foods, right? Or if you're kind of, your pizzas, your burgers, your ice creams, right? Those are definitely going to be multidimensional. It's pretty rare that you're going to have a linear food be a treat food, right? One of those kind of better foods. That we like to enjoy. But, there are healthy foods that are also multidimensional, right? Something like hummus, okay? The yogurt, like we just mentioned, okay? A lot of that stuff, when you're looking at it, vegan protein sources, right? Things like tempeh and tofu and those types of foods, right? So let's pick on hummus for a second. Let's just go down that road. So hummus is going to be mostly carbs and fat. Okay, mostly carbs and fat, tiny bit of protein. So if you know that you love hummus and that's something you eat every single day, and say you eat it as a snack after dinner, right? And you go throughout your whole day and your macros look great, and then you go to eat your hummus and you realize your hummus is what's blowing your day, right? That's, again, not a reason to get rid of the hummus. So what you do is, in the beginning of your day when you're planning, sit down, put the hummus in first. Put it in your last meal of the day, put in hummus, okay? Or wherever it is that you eat it. If you eat it for lunch, put it in first thing. So that way, when you wake up in the morning and you're gonna have your breakfast, you're saying, okay, well, I've already got in some carbs and some fat and a little bit of protein from that hummus and whatever carrot to eat with it or whatever, right? So then you can reverse engineer the rest of your day and choose the linear foods that fit the rest of your diet. So say that means, maybe that hummus doesn't have quite enough carbs to fit your carb goal, right? So that means your breakfast might need to be something like oatmeal, or, have some honey in that oatmeal or something to kind of beef up your carb goal, right? Or that means that you need to, maybe your carb goal is really low and that hummus just pushes you over the top, right? So then maybe that breakfast is something like a Greek yogurt that's not flavored, that doesn't have the carbs, right? So that way you can get in your protein without the added carbs and you're hitting your goal even with that hummus, right? And again, you can apply that to anything. Another another way I like to think about this is if you're going out to eat, right? Or you're going to a friend's house for a party or something, right? Social eating, that's another really big thing to think about, those matrix type foods, right? A lot of parties are going to have those foods at them, right? A lot of restaurants. So when you're going to those places, make sure you're putting that food in first, okay? Put that food, that multidimensional food, into your MyFitnessPal app first, and then you can reverse engineer the rest of your day, okay? So I hope that helped. That's my tip in taking that matrix food, putting it in your day first to hit your macros every day. Thanks, guys. Hope that helps.